Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another fun-filled week of Dragon Ball Super content. My name is Joey. This is Crossfit TCG, and we're coming at you with the Bardock's Crew deck profile coming out of Clash of Fates. This is actually a deck I'm really looking forward to play. Really thematic, really tempo-based. Really big fan of it, so I'm excited to bring it to you today. Real quick before we get into this profile, if you guys are new to the channel, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button would be super duper awesome of you guys. If you guys want to talk about anything Dragon Ball Super related, get advice on your decks, talk about the game, see spoilers as they come out, check out our Discord server link down in the description below. We've got an awesome community there. They just constantly, talk about the game, and it's really fun. Definitely check that out. And finally, if you're a longtime fan of the channel or a new fan of the channel, that's awesome. You're awesome. Check out my Patreon link down in the description below. You guys can help me out, help you out. I got new perks on the Patreon as of this past weekend. I'm actually doing an article series right now that's geared towards new players, which is talking about the different archetypes that exist in the game, as well as different archetypes you can play that fit those play styles. So you have like aggro decks, control decks. I'm talking about different ones that fit those niches. You guys can check that out. Shout out to the Patreon because of the Patreon, I was able to order a pop filter just to increase the audio quality of these videos for you guys. So shouts out to you guys. With that being said, we'll get into this deck profile. So we've got the Bardock leader coming out of Clash of Fates. Kind of funny how, there's several yellow Bardock leaders, and, I would say this one's probably the best one, mostly because he's blue. I mean, that's just a huge boost, the fact that he's blue. I mean, yellow was great when you could play Shugesh, but now that Cronoa exists, kind of unfortunate. But we got a blue Bardock leader here. He's a typical burst 2 leader, which is really important because you do need to have a Bardock's Crew member in your drop area in order to activate a lot of your effects. So a really good thing, and it just meshes well with the archetype. And then he awakens at 4 life, untaps 2 energy, and he becomes Bardock, Hope of the Saiyans. So notable on both sides, when he swings, he gains 5k, so he just can beat over big things, especially Deadly Defenders and Vegetos, kind of by himself, which is really cool. But he's got the Sparking 5 that allows him to draw a card to gain 5k. And then his other effect is, if you have a Bardock's Crew member in your drop area, when your opponent swings at you, you can negate the attack by critting yourself a life. So it's actually kind of cool. He has some kind of built-in counterplay to the Gogeta 7 strategy. He could technically eat 3 triple attacks and only take 3 damage instead of 9 damage. So that's kind of cool. You can go down to 1 life, survive that onslaught, and hopefully win on the clapback from there. So that's kind of cool. Nifty effect, but the leader is not the driving force of the deck. The main deck is definitely more important, so we'll get into that. So starting off, we got 3 Planetary Invader Tora. When you play this card, you have to 1 Bardock's Crew card in your drop area, add it to your hand. So not for this guy because he's not really an engine starter. He's more just a recursion card later on. So later on, we can go back and grab combo pieces. Turns like 3, 4, 5. Grab like your Burner Response, Fasha, or maybe like your Shugeshes, and then keep extending your plays from there. So pretty cool. This is like the first archetype that has a lot of recursion in this game. So pretty nifty. And we've got our actual starter, which is Planetary Invader Fasha. So you play this card. Look up the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Bardock's Crew, add it to your hand, shuffle the deck. So top 5 scry is not super deep, but we do play several targets for this. So it's going to hit mostly consistently. We've got 26 targets for it and a 50 card deck. So that's pretty good odds of hitting one. So she's a good engine starter there. And then we do play the 4 Burner Spawns Borgos in the main deck. So this is just a typical 1 energy draw card at the worst. So it's definitely not bad for engine starting. It increases the consistency of your Fasha and the consistency of your leader milling a Bardock's Crew, so you can actually make your plays. But also he punishes Storm, which is definitely a good thing that this card can main deck efficiently, and searchable is a card that hates on Storm, so it can't hurt too much. And it can also hurt on things like Adult Cost Vegeta, Shiner on decks, anything that untaps energy offensively. You can kind of hate on it, which is pretty cool. Notice how this deck is not going to do a lot of offensive untapping outside the occasional Senzu Bean and the leader awakening, but you definitely don't want to get blown out by a Borgos. So we've opted to drop Unyielding Spirit Trunks from this deck, although it's not really needed. I mean, your plays are particularly, on curve for the most part. You're able to do your things on the turns you want to do them, and then like turns 4 and 5, you can just explode off and do what you want to do. So pretty cool. Then we got the 4 Dimension Magic. This archetype does come with its own negate. It's like a kind of a little bit better of a Times Judgment from the set 3. I think it's like the first black negate that came out. Discard 2, add it back to your hand. That one's discard 1 blue, add it to your hand, but this Dimension Magic is so much better, especially your leader is a burst leader, so you have access to sparking really fast, so you can start awakening yourself, and you just have a free negate that untaps 2 energy. You gotta play Dimension Magic over that negate 9 times out of 10 in my opinion. Then we got the 4 Bean. It's a mono blue deck. You gotta play the defense. It's gotta, you get your efficiency on defense very cost effectively. And then we have 3 Awakening Talipan. I would play testing this deck. Sometimes you just gotta get there. You gotta awaken yourself. You gotta flip over, make your leader bigger, and get a big tempo play so you can actually either end with an energy up or so you can, you know, make more plays on a turn and really aggro the opponent. So 3 pan, just because once you see one of them, you're basically guaranteed to awaken unless you run into like a Crisis Crusher or something like that. But yeah, that's why we got 3 pan. And we have 4 Great Saiyaman Town Hero. So we're not playing the Future Pinch, which is like a really cool extra card in my opinion, but really cost heavy. So I decided not to play it in this build. I could see maybe playing 1 or 2 of it just for like those all-in pushes, but then again, this deck doesn't go super duper wide, so I don't think it's super necessary. But for that reason, we don't need to play the super combo restricted to this archetype. We can play Great Saiyaman Town Hero, which can be on board earlier. So because you're a burst leader, so it can help you dig faster, help you defend hits you don't want to take with more efficiency. And the base 10k combo is just better for when you get like a Fu Strata dropped on you or like a Frieza 7 dropped on you. The base 10k just helps a lot, so that's why I'm playing that super combo. And you know, if that super combo for this archetype was actually a Bardock's crew, we would probably be playing that, because then your Planetary Invader Tora could actually grab it back. But since that's not the case, no real reason to play it if you're not going to play Future Pinch. So then we have Burnished Bonds Fascia. So these are 2 kind of engine propellers in the deck, Fascia and Tora. So let's see what they do. So she's a 3-drop blue, 15k critical permanent. If a Bardock's crew card's in your drop area, reduce energy cost this card in your hand by 1. So 2-drop 15k crit, pretty good. Activate main, place card in the owner's drop area, choose a 1 Bardock's crew card in your battle area, switch it to active mode. So that's going to allow you to reswing with either like your Shugesh or your Final Strike Bardock. Works really well with the Final Strike Bardock, because once we get to his effect, you'll see that it triggers his effect again, which is really good. And a 2-drop 15k crit, really solid. So really good card in the deck. Burnished Bonds Tora, barrier, permanent. If a Bardock's crew card, your drop area, reduce energy cost in your hand by 1. Activate main, tap 3, place this card in the owner's drop area, choose up to 1 Final Strike Bardock from your deck or drop area and play it, and shuffle your deck if you look through it. So you can actually mill your Bardocks and be totally fine. The only thing you just don't want to really draw them, but only playing 3 in the deck, you're either going to mill it or keep it in deck most likely, so that's totally fine. And then this actually lets you play the Final Strike Bardock on turn 3, so pretty solid. You get to drop your boss monster on turn 3 as long as you hit your curve, which this deck has a lot of consistency options to help you do that. So turn 2 you drop this guy ideally, turn 3 you go into Final Strike Bardock. That's the typical curve of the deck. And then we're playing 4 Burnished Bonds Shugesh. It's another name for Planetary Invader Fascia, another name for your leader to mill, so you can actually trigger your battle card effects to, you know, reduce their costs. But I mean, he's just like an ability unleashed Gohan, right? So you attack, you can either draw a card or give him double strike. So he's a cheap finisher, cheap 3 energy finisher. He's also going to pressure Deadly Defenders and other battle cards off the board and draw you a card in the meantime. So if they don't clear him, he's just going to keep drawing you cards, which can be really solid. And then you have the Burnished Bonds Fascia to potentially restand him again and draw more cards. Or you can give him double strike on the first swing, which will give him double strike for the entire turn. Fascia, swing with him again, he'll be double strike drawing a card this time. So really cool combos you can do in the deck. You know, there's a lot of nifty little interactions. It's really cool in my opinion how the you know, the Bardock's crew, they all work together to do things, which is really solid. So before we talk about the red armband, we'll talk about the Final Strike Bardock. So we've got 3 of them in the deck. It's a 5 energy, 2 blue, 1 10k combo. You can only have 1 in play in your battle area, so you don't even really want to run 4 because it can get cloggy. You can't even like really spam multiple of them. So when this card is switched from rest mode to active mode, if your leader card is a Bardock's crew card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it at the bottom of the deck. So what's really cool is that will trigger every single time you restand your battle cards at the beginning of your turn. And because of the 25k barrier on turn 3 at the earliest, it's really hard for your opponent to remove off the board. So every single time this thing survives, which is going to be pretty often, it's just going to restand, make your opponent -1. So you're kind of just hitting the tempo of your opponent's deck, and you're eventually going to try to out resource them and go for game, which is a playstyle that I really like. So that's kind of why I'm really excited to show you guys this deck. So now we'll go back to Tora's red armband. So now, well, after reading that, you guys can see too how Fascia kind of triggers that again. So Tora's red armband, we've got a 4-drop extra card. So we haven't seen a good 4-drop extra card since March of the Great Apes back in like set 3. So this card is actually really solid. If your leader card is a Bardock's crew, choose 1 blue Tora from your drop area, send it to your warp. Not a huge problem because that's easy to obtain, especially if you hit your curve properly. Draw 4 cards. Already insane. Already nuts. Choose 1 Final Strike Bardock in your battle area, switch to active mode, so you proc your Bardock's effect to make them bottom deck a card from their hand, and it gets plus 10k power and double strike for duration of the turn. At the end of your turn, choose 1 energy and switch to active mode. So that's nuts. I mean, so this card is so good. I would play 4 if it wasn't just an extra card, because you don't want to clog too much on extra cards, and you only want to see it by turn 4, so you have plenty of opportunities to draw it by then. But you get draw 4, restand your guy, make your opponent put a card from their top of their deck to the bottom of their hand. So you literally just +5 right there, which is absolutely, oh sorry, +4 technically. It was absolutely insane. And then your Bardock's a 35k double strike barrier, so that's absolutely nuts. And then you get to end your turn with 1 energy up, so your Dimension Magics are live. You don't even have to take a life for them. You can go right into your Senzu Beans. You have absolutely insane plays. So we do want to drop the Bardock on turn 3. We want to go into Red Armband on turn 4 in a perfect world. And then turn 5, I have Ultimate Fusing Gogeta here at a 2 spot just to come and clean up, right? So we're running a Sparking deck already, so it's easy to get his conditions met. So, you know, he's just your average double strike, 25k, Sparking 5, bounce 2 of your opponent's battle cards to the bottom of the deck, and draw 2 cards. So he's a really great cleanup card. I really liked him a lot. You know, if the Red Armband play didn't kill the opponent, which is possible that it might not, because I mean it's just 1 double strike on turn 4. It could very well be that they're still alive after that. But once you have the Bardock restanding for probably its 3rd time on turn 5, and then you drop the Gogeta next to it, it's probably just game over at that point. So that's why I like this card a lot at the cleanup position. And then we have Infernal Villainy Cell. In my opinion, like if you're playing a mono blue deck especially, but even just like Dimension Magic in general, you have to play something that takes advantage of that extra energy you get out Dimension Magic, right? What's the point of untapping an extra energy with Dimension Magic if that extra energy is not going to do anything for you on your opponent's turn? So I feel like you got to play at least 4 either Cell or Unbreakable Goku to really take advantage of the Dimension Magic in almost any deck that plays Dimension Magic. I feel like it's really important. So that's why I've chosen to include it in the deck. So that's my mono blue build. I know the mono yellow build, not mono yellow, the blue yellow build has been floating around a little bit here and there. I chose to go with the mono blue build just to, you know, save consistency for one. I think it's kind of a clunky build. You got a lot of 10k combos going on in there. I mean, here we already have 5, 9, 10k combos, which is kind of a lot, but we do play mono blue, so we have a lot of energy manipulation, so it's not really that big of an issue. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to go maximum consistency. I don't think the apes are as threatening enough, especially since you're not dropping the Bardock ape or the Vegeta ape. I wanted to go mono blue, just out tempo my opponent, out resource my opponent, and I've been having a lot of fun with this deck, guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to coming out of Clash of Fates. Any suggestions you would make to this deck, I'm totally open to that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Joey. This is Carl with TCG, and I'll see you in the next video.